Dang. Ready to go. So after a couple of days of messing with the wiring harness here, I think I have enough things connected to where if it's gonna start, it should start. I've got the firing order corrected on both the coils and the injectors. And what I did was I just switched the pins around in the PCM connector for the proper 7.3 firing order. And at first I got confused because I was overthinking it, but sometimes you just gotta think less and it'll turn out pretty good. So I swapped, well, cylinder 1 and cylinder 6 are still the same. Everything else was a bit different. So I swapped the pins around and put the retainer back in, and we should be good there. Throttle body, I only have the 2 wires connected. I don't know, I'm not sure 100% how that's gonna go. I want to see how it responds to the OEM throttle, I guess, the pedal in this car. I have no idea. I'm just learning as I go. So as far as wiring, I think we should be okay for now. Of course, it's gonna be modified more. I didn't loom anything because, there's still extra connectors that I have to deal with. I'm not going to loom it until I know 100% this thing runs and drives. Transmission down there is connected. And so right now what I want to do is I want to lower the body onto the frame and hook up the PCM back to this wiring and see what kind of response we get from everything. So let's do it. Got the battery hooked up. Nothing's on fire so far. It's a good sign. Let's check it out inside, see what it's gonna do. Oh man, put a dent in it. I still don't have the starter hooked up, so I just wanna turn the ignition on and see what happens. Oh man. Hold up. I think I have the fuel pump is pumping fuel. Sounds like it is, but nothing came out so far. That's good. Let me hook up this line just in case. So I'm up here trying to turn the ignition on and see if there's any fuel coming through here. And I'm like, I smell it, but nothing's coming up here to the rail, right? That's because it's not connected back here. There's all that fuel. I gotta lift up the car and connect the lines first before I go further. Yep, that's gasoline right there. And here's why, because I didn't connect this fuel line. There we go. There we go, there's some fuel coming up front now. So let me get that. Well, let's see. Should I try to turn it over? I just hooked up the starter. Maybe I should just try to turn it over and see what happens without fuel. And go from there. Got power. Nothing. Nothing. Okay. It must think it's in gear right now still. Alright, I think I have it in park now. Let's try this again. I have the injectors disconnected, so it's not gonna start, but oh man, battery's weak, but it's trying to turn over. That's a good sign. I have to crawl in here through the window because I can't open the door, but I got the booster on it. Let's see what we got. Bam! So it turns over. That's a good sign. That's a very good sign. I don't think I have any pedal response at the moment because I only connected 2 of the 5 wires. So I'll have to do I'll have to look it up and see which wire goes to what. And once I figure it out, I think I can have some kind of response. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but at least there'll be something. But I think I'm gonna plug up the injectors and see what happens. I don't know if it's gonna fire up or not, but I'm just curious. Let's do it. So right now I just want to scan the car and see what kind of codes come up. Should be tons of them. It still thinks it's a 4.6. Health report. Alright, so there's tons of codes. Obviously the ABS, the rear sensors are still not plugged in. Door module, I don't know, blah blah blah. We're more concerned about the PCM. The powertrain control module. Come on. Now remember, I have the stock PCM still hooked up to this 2009 Crown Vic. Let's see, read codes, retrieve. Okay, so throttle position sensor, I don't have any of that plugged in. Throttle position sensor B, not plugged in. Fuel temperature sensor, I don't have a fuel sensor plugged in at all at the moment because the 7.3 does not have a fuel pressure sensor and the 4.6 did. So most of the codes are for the throttle body. Yeah. Okay, so throttle body and the fuel temperature sensor, which is also the pressure sensor. So I don't know if it's gonna start without it reading proper fuel pressure. I might have to trick it somehow and let the PCM know that I actually do have fuel pressure, because it is pumping fuel, and I'm pretty sure it's, you know, pumping that 40 or 50 psi, whatever it is, for the 4.6, but it's not reading psi, so the PCM thinks that it's not getting any fuel, so it might not start because of that reason. So, but I'm gonna try it anyways and see what it does. I'm gonna hook up the injectors and go from there. Alright, injectors are now plugged in, and let's see what it does. Okay, so it turns over awesome. That's a good sign. But like I said, it's not reading fuel pressure, so I guess that could be it. I was gonna try when the 4.6 was still in here. I wanted to try and disconnect the fuel pressure sensor and see if it would start the original engine, but I forgot to do that. So now I'm not sure if the PCM will allow this engine to start without reading fuel pressure. The fuel pressure sensor is right here on the rail on the 4.6. It's actually connected to some vacuum as well, and it's a 4-pin connector. I don't know, I might see if I can get like a fuel box that I can trick the PCM for it to read some sort of fuel pressure, or, you know, just adjust it to wherever it needs to read, 40, 50 psi or whatever it's supposed to be. I'll look it up, and that way it might start. Also, I'll need to figure out this throttle body here. I connected those 2 wires because I'm pretty sure that controls the motor, right? But now I need to figure out the other 3 wires and connect those for it to respond properly, and it may or may not work. I'm not sure. If not, my plan B is to get like a throttle or gas pedal from like a newer truck, like a 2020 F250, F350, or F450, whatever. E-Class van will work as well. And I've been trying to find a 2020 PCM that would work for this engine, like out of a F250 or F350, F450 E-Class van, whichever one comes with a 7.3. But I had no luck yet. Nobody's wrecked one, I guess. But I keep looking daily just to see, because that's my other option. Right now everything's hooked up to the original PCM there, and it turns over with the key, so I'm pretty happy about that. It doesn't run, but I think it's because of the fuel pressure issue that I don't have a sensor. And if there was a way I could install a pressure sensor on here, I would, and I can. It's not going to be a quick thing. I'll have to go to a shop and get it welded probably, and there might be another sensor that I can use that would read the same thing, but for now that's what we got. Also, the issue that I'm having is, I knew it would be an issue with the steering column. It's hitting the header on the driver's side there. It's probably hard to see on video, but it's hitting a little knob on the header there that held the shield. I took the shield off, which is this guy here, and I was hoping that it would miss that knob, but I'm still hitting it. And the plan is, if I cut that knob off, it may clear, but do I really want that steering rod to be that close to the header? Probably not, but I don't know. I don't know what my other options are. So maybe if someone knows, let me know. But you know, I'm not too worried about the steering right now. Obviously, I want to get it running properly before I take it on the drive. But let me see what I can figure out with this fuel pressure situation, and we'll go from there. So still no throttle response, no big deal. I'll figure that out later, but check this out. Got the lights hooked up straight to the booster box. I wanted to see if they work, and turns out this one over here doesn't work. Might be a bad connection or something, but that's pretty bright. There's also a siren back there that I'll hook up eventually, and I'll hook this up inside with the switches and everything because everything's ripped out, but I think it's pretty cool. Also, I have this fuel simulator box. I believe this is it. I just found one. We have a couple laying around. Years ago, we used these to trick the computer to read certain fuel pressure when we would convert to natural gas. We haven't used this in years. This was something a long time ago, but this should work for me because I have a 4-wire connector here for the original 4.6 fuel pressure sensor, and this box here has 4 wires as well. One of them is ground, the other 3 is signal and other stuff. But anyway, the way this box should work, if this is the right box, I don't remember what they look like, I just found it. This cap comes off and there's a little screw there, so once you wire this up you can adjust the screw. It's a little tiny one, and you can adjust it to whatever pressure you want the computer to read. If my no start issue is because of the fuel pressure, this will fix it, I believe. I'll just tell the computer that I am getting 45 whatever psi, whatever's needed, and the PCM then should fire the engine up. The second problem is the throttle body still not responding, but I don't know if I already said anything about the throttle body, but basically I have the 2 wires connected. That's to the motor, but there's the signal wires. I'm not sure how those connect. I need to look into it and see which wire does what. Also, this throttle body has 6 wires or 6 pins in the connection itself, but the connector only has 5 wires going, and I have a total of 6 wires from the 4.6 harness that I need to hook up. 2 of those wires are exactly the same color. I don't know if one's like a return signal or something like that, and if it is, I'll have to add 1 more wire in here because there is a pin in there. I just need to add a pin and a wire and connect it that way, and I might be able to have response from the throttle body, or I might have to even buy a new pedal, like from a 2020 or newer vehicle, like a F250 or so. But so the lights work, except this one here sucks, but that's pretty cool. So that's what we got, and that's gonna be it in this video. In the next video, I'm gonna mess with the throttle body some more and the fuel pressure sensor situation, and also look into what I'm gonna do with the steering rod, and we'll go from there.